We're going to look at Federalist number 15, and as you can see, I've written here defects of the Articles of Confederation. Hamilton here starts talking about the problems that America's first Constitution, the Articles of Confederation, had. He's going to go down the list and tell you what problems it created, what weaknesses it had, why we had to come up with this new Constitution in 1787. I'll just give you a couple of points to focus on, and then I'll read the article and we will go along with Hamilton and see what he says. One of the main problems that the Articles of Confederation had was that if you were to amend it, if you were to change any part of it, you needed a unanimous vote. In other words, you needed all the 13 states of the colonies, or actually the new states, the new independent states, to unanimously agree on it. So all 13 of them had to agree. So a small state like Rhode Island or Delaware could block anything from getting done because they could pretty much veto the decision of all of the other states. If you were to add an amendment to do whatever, you needed all the 13 states to say yes. For example, during the Revolutionary War, one of the main problems they had was getting money for the Revolutionary Army, to pay the soldiers, to buy goods, to buy whatever the soldiers needed, ammunition. And every time they wanted to put a tariff on the imports, the tax on the imports, so that the government makes a little money, gets a little money for Treasury to pay for what it's for its expenditure, for what it spends. If they were going to amend the Articles of Confederation, a state like Rhode Island could block it. So they realized that these Articles of Confederation, this first Constitution, is troublesome. They can't do much with it. That's actually just one of the problems. So we'll talk about a few of the other ones as we go along. So I'll start with paragraph 1. In the course of the preceding papers, I have endeavored, my fellow citizens, to place before you in a clear and convincing light the importance of union to your political safety and happiness. When he says preceding papers, the preceding papers, he means the papers that we wrote before this one. So he says in the first 14 papers, I tried to show you that uniting is definitely much, much better for you, and I hope I've convinced you of it. I've convinced you of the importance of the union to your political safety and happiness. That's what I've tried to do. That's what we have tried to do in the last 14 papers. Now, I have unfolded to you a complication of dangers to which you would be exposed, should you permit that sacred knot which binds the people of America together to be severed and dissolved by ambition or by avarice, by jealousy or by misrepresentation. And I've told you, I have shown you, I have unfolded to you, means I've explained it to you, the complication of the dangers, all the dangers that you will face if you decide to break the sacred tie, the sacred bond the sacred knot that binds us together, that keeps us together, and all the problems you would have. And this could be done by people who are ambitious, people in different states that want to keep their jobs or get a better job in their state rather than be part of the union, or avarice because they just love money and they got the money that they're making, they don't want to risk that, or by jealousy or misrepresentation, or whether they're just distrustful, or whether they are being lied to or accepting the foolish things that people are saying against this Constitution. He says we've talked about this in the last 14 papers. In the sequel of the inquiry through which I propose to accompany you in these following Federalist Papers that I wish to accompany you, talk with you, explain to you, the truths intended to be inculcated will receive further confirmation from facts and arguments hitherto unnoticed. I will give you more facts and arguments on why the Articles of Confederation are bad for you, they were weak, and a union is necessary for you. Says, I'll tell you all of those. If the road over which you will still have to pass should in some places appear to you tedious or irksome, you will recollect that you are in quest of information on a subject the most momentous which can engage the attention of a free people, that the field through which you have to travel is in itself spacious, and the difficulties of the journey have been unnecessarily increased by the mazes with which sophistry has beset the way. It will be my aim to remove the obstacles to your progress in as compendious a manner as it can be done without sacrificing utility to dispatch. So he says, the path we are taking, all these arguments that we are going to be having with one another, all this explanation that I will be giving you, it is not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging, and it needs your attention. And the subjects we're going to be talking about, it is going to be somewhat complicated, sometimes challenging and difficult. So when he says you have to travel in itself is spacious, means the areas, the subject matters that we are going to be talking about are not small subject matters, and it's going to include a lot of things. And unfortunately, the difficulties of the journey will be increased unnecessarily because there are people who do not want this Constitution, do not want this union, and with sophistry, with telling you imaginary things, untrue things, sometimes lies, sometimes half-truths, they're going to make this complicated. They're going to create a maze for you. They're going to confuse you. It is my aim to remove the obstacles to your progress in as compendious a manner as it can be done. So we know there will be obstacles, barriers for us as we go forward, and it is my hope to remove these barriers, to take these obstacles out of the way, and as a compendious manner. As compendious and compendium, all those are the same root words. Here means as complete of a way as I can, without giving you way too much detail. In exact, concise way. So he says, I'm going to explain it to you as we go along. Of course, I can't do it in every little bitty detail, but I'll try to do the best I can to be as complete without being way too much detailed. And then he says, without sacrificing utility to dispatch. I have to find a way of doing this where it's fast enough, but not too fast that I won't be able to explain it to you. Explain it well. So that's the thing. Utility to dispatch. Dispatch is speed. How fast I can give it to you. But utility is what it is used for. What these papers that we're going to be talking about are good for. So I'll try to keep the balance without getting too wordy, without having to write too much. I'll try to write enough to explain it to you. So, and that is the same thing we're going to do. We're just going through these Federalist Papers to get a big picture of what federalism is. And as we go along, you'll hear things. I will introduce you to books. I will introduce you to talks that I've heard that I think will give you a better picture of federalism. And then hopefully when you get comfortable with it, you will do some research on your own. And I think in a few generations, we will be ready for challenges ahead of us. And I think we can solve the challenges. We can solve the world problems by looking at it as a world solution. World problems need world solutions. And we need to enable everybody to have their say, to be wise about things. And hopefully we can unite and leave a better planet for generations to come, and also make our lives better, healthier, safer, our freedoms intact and prosperous.